Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Gabe.
It's Caleb.
And you guys are listening to the 36th episode of the Positive Outlook podcast. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
This is our first episode to be dropping in 2022, and it is incredible. We are carrying ourselves over to the new year with new goals, new challenges, and new fun things that we have to provide for you guys.
And if you are watching us on YouTube, make sure to hit that like and subscribe.
Yes, thank you. And yeah, if you are new here and you like what we have on the channel, then yeah, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, and keep coming back for more because we're not stopping.
As you can tell, we're very dynamic with our setup. We like to switch it up, try to keep it fun and light, and find new ways to make it more interactive. So we got our two monitors here, Gabe's two monitors.
Just keeping it fresh, keeping you guys on your toes. Now, one thing I do want to address before we get into this, I'm a little bit stuffy. My voice is cracking a lot.
Okay.
So please, I'm not going through puberty. If you hear my voice cracking, it is just because I'm a little dry.
And before we get too deep, I got a big announcement.
Let's hear it.
We got Tony Rubleski coming on next week.
Tony Rubleski is coming on the what, the 10th?
The 10th.
I believe so. Yeah. So we got Tony Rubleski coming on the 10th. That episode will be dropping. Awesome guy, national speaker, bestseller. Really cool guy, great speaker, good message. I cannot wait to get him on and talk to him.
All right, I think we're ready to jump in.
Yeah, so what are we talking about?
Today we're talking about overcoming adversity.
And what does overcoming adversity mean to you?
It means there's a lot of challenges that come at you in day-to-day life or bigger than day-to-day.
Right.
And it's how you work with them and overcome them without failing, basically.
Yeah, I see adversity as a challenge or something that gives you a disadvantage in a challenge. So say, you have one leg and you have to run a mile. Mm-hmm. That's your adversity, is you have one leg.
Right.
And so you have this, whether it's minor or major, you have this setback that prevents you from either completing a challenge as well as other people could, or something that you have to refine before you can tackle it opposed to other people.
Absolutely. It can come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. It can be, it can literally be the time frame or the time period you're in,
right? Depending
on what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
So it comes in all sorts. So what's the first step to overcoming adversity?
First step, so we have 5 steps today that we're going to walk you guys through, and these are by Tony Robbins, and so we like to share them with you guys. We're going to do our own spin on the definition of them, but we'll give you guys the main head topics. So number 1 is be prepared.
Be prepared.
And so what does that mean to you?
Being prepared means that, not necessarily overthinking, because a lot of people like to overthink, but it's just being ready. When you have, let's say you have a test coming up, if you're not studying, if you're not reviewing all the information, you're not preparing yourself, you're going to fail.
Right. It's just not being naive to the situation, but also not being overbearing of it,
right.
I would say. So like you just mentioned, a test. If you have a test coming up, you can't go into it expecting I'm not going to have to study, I don't have to do any of my homework, I'm just going to go in there, get 100% and leave.
Right.
But you also can't be like, this is going to define my future, and if I fail it, it's a life sentence.
Right, and one example of adversity for a test, maybe they throw questions in there that weren't on the study guide.
Right.
Are you going to blame the test, or most people do? They're
yeah.
Like, wow, he shouldn't have thrown this question in there.
Yeah.
But in reality, if you just studied all of the proper materials and you took the proper amount of time to prepare,
right,
wouldn't have been a problem.
Right. And I see that a lot. I guess we'll stick on this example here, but with schools, a lot of professors, when it comes to different professors for the same subject, some professors are just not as good as getting their material to the students.
Right.
And so that's that adversity, where you might not be as well prepared as other people, so it's your job to get yourself prepared.
Have you ever ran into that issue?
I have.
Yeah.
I have plenty, but it's a trade-off, because then the class is more fun. Mm-hmm. It's more fun to be in, but then you're not ready for the tests and stuff.
True. It also depends on what class. If you don't enjoy the class, it's probably not going to be very fun.
Yeah, definitely. Because then you're not enjoying the class and you're also doing poorly.
Definitely.
And so that's just the first step, is to be prepared. It might not, it's the whole accountability thing. Mm-hmm. It might not be, A, your fault, or B, something that you saw coming. But it's always, your responsibility to hold yourself accountable and be prepared for those situations.
Absolutely. So just remember, if you are in a situation where there is going to be adversity, prepare the best you possibly can.
Yep, definitely. All right, moving into number 2, we have stay disciplined. You want to take that one?
Stay disciplined. I mean, I think this kind of goes along with preparing. If you have challenges coming up, you got to stay on the grind. I think Gary Vee's most used word ever is consistency.
Yeah.
That's true with absolutely anything. If you just keep plugging away, you keep studying, you keep working. Let's say you have an interview coming up and I don't know, maybe they don't hire people from your background.
Right.
Whatever it is, if you just keep plugging away and keep to that schedule, get a good routine, it's like clockwork. It just happens.
Yeah. There's definitely there's a big difference between a motivator and then having discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And we talk about this a lot on the podcast. It's easy to get motivated. You know, whether it's to go work out or to start working on that exam but start to work on that paper that's due in a week. It's really easy to take that first step and kind of just say, all right, I'm going to do this, and you're all amped up and you're ready for it. But then in 20, 30 minutes, where'd that go?
Right.
Or after the first time you do it, where'd that go?
And I think one of the easiest ways to kind of get an idea of discipline is listening to the routines of professional athletes.
Mm-hmm.
These guys get up at 4 to 6 a.m.
Yep.
and they just go and go and go until
Mm-hmm.
it's time to go to sleep.
Right.
It's pretty insane. A lot of people don't give them credit because they get on TV and they don't perform.
Yeah.
But some of that discipline is intense.
Yeah.
So discipline's great.
Yeah. Discipline is just that never-ending motivation, I guess you could say.
Yep, persistence.
Yes.
Go back to episode 2.
Yeah, persistence and consistency. That's all it takes, and it equates to discipline.
So what's number 3?
Number 3 is practice positivity. Which, do you know anything about that?
Maybe a little.
Maybe a little bit. Yeah. I mean, it's something. I think we've brought it up a couple times on this podcast. I think.
At least once.
Yeah. What's the name of this podcast?
Something Outlook.
Yeah, I think Positive.
Oh,
Positive
yeah,
Outlook,
wow.
where we preach about positivity and having a better mindset. And so that's one thing that when we saw on this list, was something that was like, oh my gosh, I think we could talk about that.
That's a
Maybe.
must.
Yeah. So practicing positivity is huge. It's so important in your life. One thing I always like to do a callback to is happy doesn't mean always happy.
Yep.
So just because people are positive, it doesn't mean that they're naive or ignorant to challenges in life. It means that they just have a better equipped mindset for it.
And another thing that we bring up all the time is how prevalent the negativity is. And so a great way to practice positivity is trying to cut back on the negativity.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It's in social media, it's in the news,
Radio.
literally anything. So just try to limit that, focus on what gets you. I mean, I don't know if everyone's experienced it, but there's like these times where there's a big struggle or a big problem happening and I'm just in this absolute zen. I'm complete calm, I can handle this.
Right.
Just try to do what sets you into that mindset. Try and shift yourself into this state of mind that's at a lot more peace than when you're, panicking and freaking out.
And so I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you almost feel more calm in life when there are issues in it?
Yeah, I do.
Isn't that strange? So sometimes I feel that way too. When I am, whether it's not, there's nothing that's going, not so much wrong in my life, but challenges I'm not facing or something I don't have to be, excuse me, afraid of coming up in the next week. I don't know if it's somewhat boring, but then when those challenges arise, it kind of makes me feel like I have reason to practice this strong mentality and this positivity. And so I can take that step back and kind of just meet in that zen spot like what you were talking about.
Absolutely. So do you have a recent experience at all with where you were really being tested?
With a challenge in life, I think I would go for the podcast, and I guess also real estate in general. So it's an issue as far as trying to balance everything, because I'm working at the hospital too.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a big toss up of a lot of things that I'm working on my own time, and I have to set aside and prioritize them in ways where one has potential, like the podcast, one provides finances, like the hospital, and then one provides potential and finances, which is real estate. And so it's weird. I have these three kind of worlds that I'm all juggling around and trying to figure out which one works best for me. But the easiest thing for me to do is take a step back and tell myself that I'm young. If I mess up, I mess up.
Right.
I'm only 21 years old. If I take the wrong path or forget who I am along this journey, I can always turn around and come back because I will realize it eventually.
And you've read Think and Grow Rich, correct?
Yeah.
Do you realize that according to Napoleon Hill,
Mm-hmm.
who, if you guys don't know, he did a study, I think it was 25 years in the making,
Yeah.
and it was hundreds, if not thousands, of rich people, and he studied, common themes, common lessons, and he put it all into one book called Think and Grow Rich. And towards the end, which I only have 2 chapters left, so I
Mhm.
need to crank those out.
Yeah.
He says that men or women have the most productive years at the age 40 plus.
Really?
Isn't that strange?
That is very strange.
He said that if you look at it, it was in the chapter Sex Transmutation.
Yep.
I think that's chapter 15 or 14. 14.
Yep.
And he was talking about everyone feels this rush. Well, if you look at what most successful people do, it's not until they're beyond the age of 40
Right.
when they hit their peak of success, whether it's fortune or fame or
Mhm.
whatever. And so I think that's one important thing that we have to keep in mind is that we are really young.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's kind of fun. It's like, can we do it before we're,
Expired.
expired?
Yeah.
But I just think that's another like good reality check, practicing positivity. It's like there really is no rush.
Yeah.
People start chasing their dreams sometimes when they're in their 60s
Right.
and they still can find it.
Right. I think it was Gary Vaynerchuk didn't start till he was what, like 35,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's one of the most notorious entrepreneurs in the world.
Yep.
Which is awesome to think about. So I've got 14 more years till I have to try, right?
Yeah. That's not what that means,
Yeah.
but
So-
it's just something to help keep in mind
Yeah.
as you're going through the struggle.
It's a double-edged sword.
Mhm.
Just be aware that you do have time, but not too much.
Because I feel like as people, we feel conditioned to rush everything.
Oh yeah.
And honestly, obviously, we're kind of go-getters in the sense that we're not just waiting or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying anyone should ever wait, but like it's kind of like you say with education. If you're not sure about it, why drop $50,000, go into debt or more, and end up doing something that you want to change or
Right.
quit? You
Yeah.
know?
Just
So-
because you feel like you're doing or accomplishing something along
Exactly.
the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we will move into number 4. Number 4 is stay focused.
Stay focused.
How often do you lose focus on goals?
I would say usually not often.
Mhm.
I would say with my last set of goals that I had, I didn't quite hit most of them on the mark.
Yeah.
I know that's crazy. What how can you have a podcast if you're not hitting every goal?
Right.
But I think that's a huge learning lesson. Like
Mhm.
I've learned so much from missing these specific goals that I had.
Yeah.
I think the easiest way to stay focused is to just remember your why. Mastermind groups.
Yeah.
I don't want to like go crazy off on tangents here,
Mhm.
but those are so big. I
Yeah.
would say you and I have one for
Mhm.
sure.
Yep.
And that's why we did the check-ins. They weren't for you guys, they were for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's huge in helping you keep your focus because you're the average of the 5 people you're around.
Right.
What about you?
I think I lose. So I guess we kind of have to define here what focus on a goal would be. And in my opinion, focus on a goal is kind of a realm of a couple things. So it's 1, making sure it's tangible.
Mm-hmm.
2, making sure that it's what I want.
Yep.
And 3, kind of considering the benefits from it opposed to the cons.
Definitely.
And I think stay focused is a very general term.
Oh, very general.
And when it comes to goals, I don't think that I've ever set goals that I've stayed quote unquote focused on. Simply because the thought always comes up of, is this tangible?
Mm-hmm.
Will I benefit what I want from this? And is this really what I want?
Definitely.
And ultimately though, it's nice to have those thoughts mid-goal because you can see the path that you've gone down and you've learned all these things along the path, so you can kind of take that step back and make sure that this is something that you want to chase.
Right.
And if not, you can go down a different path with all the things you have learned, and because when you're chasing a goal, you're never going backwards.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're choosing to go backwards, obviously, but if you're actively pursuing a goal, you're learning something along the way.
Definitely.
And so I think that in a general question, yes, I always stay focused on my goals, but in that definition, no. I do lose focus, and I like to reassess and then get my focus either elsewhere or back on it.
I think a cool way to look at it is if you're doing like a photography session, let's say the photographer has her camera and she's getting ready to take a picture of you and she keeps shifting you around.
Yeah.
Does that camera stay focused on one specific thing the entire time?
It doesn't.
It changes over and over again, right?
Right.
But the final products are always very neat as long as you go to a good photographer.
Right.
Very good, high quality pictures. And I think that's important to keep in mind. As a human, we know that we're always adapting, always changing. And so that's important, is that the definition of focus changes.
Yeah.
It's like you were saying, it can be completely different, but as long as it's changing for the better, there's no problem with that.
Always make sure you're focused on the right thing when you take the picture. I guess we could say that.
Yeah, otherwise, no one likes pictures of trees with you blurred out. And,
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's artsy.
Okay, but
yeah.
If we're talking
in this analogy,
let's say you're doing a headshot for real estate. How are they going to like it if the business card's the trees?
Yeah, there's a bird flying by, super high quality. They can't even see you.
Right. So,
yeah, right.
I don't know. I thought it was kind of a cool analogy.
It is. Yeah, I like it. Moving into the fifth and final step here, it is find the lesson. And I kind of brought this up in the last one of stay focused. Finding the lesson is key.
Definitely.
And what is it? I mean, when you think of find the lesson, what does that mean to you?
It means take a deep breath, pause for a second, and reflect. Kind of back to I think that was stay hopeful.
Yeah, pause and reflect.
Just take a moment to realize when crap hits the fan, or even when it doesn't hit the fan. Because we've had conversations with people that they were like, it feels like things are going too well. Well, take a second, because even in success, everyone says failure is the best teacher, and I believe that.
Right.
But there's always lessons in whether it's success or failure. So take a second and look back and see what you learned. It's not luck. Sometimes it feels like it. When you're high rolling, it's like, okay, this is too good to be true.
Yeah.
Well, take a look and realize how much you went through.
Yeah.
There's literally lessons in everything.
Yeah, finding a lesson. When we tie it back to the topic of the episode, which we kind of went off on a tangent.
I don't know. I think we're doing okay.
Yeah, no, we're doing great. We're doing great at explaining these points. But overcoming adversity, when it comes to finding the lesson, you could probably find adversity in every challenge that you face.
Every single one.
And excuse me, finding where the adversity is in that challenge allows you to learn a lesson from it. And when you learn a lesson from that adversity, then you can tackle it better next time.
Absolutely.
You know where your weaknesses and your strengths are, and that's pretty much the gist of it.
Yep.
Is when you attack a challenge and there's adversity, it becomes a weakness that you can work on, or overtake that weakness with your other strengths. And so that's like what Gary Vee always says. He says, screw your weakness. We don't care about your weakness. Triple down on your strengths.
Right.
And so, it's not always applicable in every situation, but in most situations, not even most, in some situations, you could overcome that weakness with one of your strengths.
And let's take this to a quick personal level. Do you feel adversity trying to build this podcast?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. So, as most of you guys know, mine and Caleb's average age is 20 years old. So, he's 19, I'm 21. And so we are some young lads that, to a lot of people, don't have experience in the real world, and we don't know what it's like out there. And we haven't experienced everything that there is to experience in life. But Noah didn't build the ark in the rain. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He was preparing himself for the rain to come. And then when the rain came, he had that ark to get on, and he got away. And so it's just that same situation where we're trying to let you guys know and inform you of what we are practicing and the mental fortitude that we are building in ourselves, so that when these challenges come with us along the way, we can tackle them better.
Absolutely. And even in a more basic form, when it comes to very simple things with building a podcast, like marketing and collaborating, did you know that in September, when we went hard for those 200 subs, I emailed at least 4 different YouTube channels a day and heard back from one.
Yep.
And she said that she was sorry, she was too busy, and that was a lot.
Yeah, right.
So even just in a simple sense of marketing, there's so much to learn, and you're right, experience is huge. And that's what we're out here to get. We're getting experiences, we're sharing our experiences, we're meeting new guests who have vast amount of experiences with all sorts of things.
Right.
And so I think that's another fun part is I love getting people on here.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, this is yours and my podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun to just sit down and hammer out these kind of
Yeah.
discussions. But it is so fun to learn from other people because, you know, when someone else shares their experience, you now have that knowledge,
Right.
which is different than experience. But now when you run into that situation, you're going to know what to do, and then you'll have the experience plus the
Yep.
knowledge.
Definitely.
So it's a win-win.
Yeah. So, so that's the adversity that we face in the podcast. And we, you know, it is seen as an adversity, but we see it as kind of a fun little challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, all right, well, now we get to prove ourselves to these guys that are listening. And we haven't really been faced with that adversity. We
Right.
know it exists,
Mm-hmm.
but no one's brought it up to us.
Right.
Like, why are you guys talking to the camera? Why are you guys talking to the mics? You guys don't know anything. And so, at least personally, I haven't experienced that.
Mm-hmm. Not yet.
And so it is there, it is present, but, you know, like we mentioned earlier, we might not have all the experience of the challenges in life, but we do have quite a few notches under our belt of the challenges and everything else that we faced. But the purpose of this is that we are training ourselves. This is like practice, and one day we're going to be brought out into the field, and then we're going to prove ourselves on the field because we're practicing right now.
And to kind of switch gears a little bit,
Yeah.
do you want to talk about a little bit about 2022? We don't have to be specific because you know oversharing goals is a bad thing, but in the light of the new year, new me.
Right.
You know, I'm not a huge fan of that.
Yeah. Just shedding off my old skin. Yeah.
So what kind of things should our viewers be and listeners be expecting for 2022?
Yeah, so 2022 is going to be an awesome year. It is going to be a busy year. It is going to be a year of growth. I felt that 2020 was the year of, I don't want to, I guess a year of challenge and pain. We'll say that. A year of challenge and pain, and then 2021 was kind of like getting back on my feet, learning how to become stronger to deal with all the challenges I'm going to tackle in 2022. And so it was kind of like a 3-step phase, and now 2022 is going to be the year of implementing and conquering. And I am so excited. And I have 3 goals set for 2022, which I'm not going to share. I'm sorry.
Right.
But I do have those 3 goals set, and I have them written down. I have them planned. I have them posted, and I'm going to, remind myself of those goals. Stay focused on them every single day, no matter what the adversity is that comes with it. I will be prepared because I have a full 365 days to do it.
365.
And so going into this new year, I'm going to tackle each one of these challenges with the best mindset I have because I've, formed into this new person that is able and completely capable of tackling all of these challenges, and I'm aware of that, so nothing's going to get in my way.
Absolutely. And I also kind of meant more so like, we're going to do more challenges.
Oh, with
more
the podcast. Oh, no. My mic just unplugged? Hello? Oh, my mic's unplugged. There you go. You keep talking.
All right, well, okay, mine's still plugged in. Wow, this is the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah.
This is exciting. But yeah, big year coming up. I can't stress. We'll have some giveaways, but we don't want to put too many giveaways in. I was watching this video, and this guy was saying one giveaway he had. It was kind of like on a faith basis, which I don't know how much I'll trust that. But it was like if you do one act of kindness, that's one entry into the giveaway, and then if you subscribe, that's like a double entry.
So it's like an honor system.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that'd be kind of cool. Get that positivity spread out into the community.
Yeah. And that's one thing. I'm sorry. That's one thing that we have a really hard time with is trying to figure out how we can spread that kindness in the community. We do a lot of things. So much as giveaways, and a lot of things we do, even when it's not on the podcast, just on our free time, the pay it forward challenge, where you pay for the person behind you, and then they pay for the person behind them, and see how long, it's like a domino effect. But one issue with that is those people are there because they can already afford to eat there.
Right.
And so I saw this kind of like change of mindset of why not tip the workers, pay the workers more because everyone's dealing with that shortage right now.
We did do that, by the way.
And yeah, we did do that. And but same thing where it's like trying to spread kindness where kindness is needed, not spread kindness where kindness already is.
Absolutely.
And so we have a really hard time coming up with those ideas and concepts, but we're working on them. 2022 is going to be a big year.
Absolutely. And anyone that has any advice, any ideas, feel free to drop it. We love taking recommendations. We love getting feedback. It's a new year. Feel free to share us with any of your friends.
Yeah. Because the bigger fan base we have and the bigger audience we have allows us to do more.
Absolutely.
With everyone that's either following us or even just within the community. So
because I'm pretty straightforward. I'm a college kid, so I don't have a whole lot of money. And so we do the best with what we got for sure.
Yeah.
And it's been one heck of a ride. 2021 was a great year.
Yeah.
I keep hearing how horrible it was, but honestly, it's one of the best years I've had.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I can't disagree. It was an awesome year. It was. I'm overly excited going into this new year to see all the things that we accomplished together.
I can't wait for our 1 year anniversary. We got to do something for that.
Yeah. Caleb and I we met in February. So it is coming up.
I meant the podcast.
No, you and I. So Caleb and I met in February. So in 2 months is going to be our 1 year anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
For the podcast, though.
It's April 26th.
April 26th. So yeah, we're still pretty fresh, 8 months. So we have 4 more months until we have a anniversary here on the podcast.
So, with that being said, I think this was a great episode.
It was.
We're working on, I'll share one goal
Yeah.
with the actual podcast, is we don't want to have an episode 15 minutes.
Yeah, so that's just going to be so that you guys have more time spent with us, we'll say. And also we'll produce more quality content because we're learning new things. We're going to get a better setup, as you guys have been seeing. Everything has just kind of been go with the flow as we feel. Our table leg actually fell off today. You guys can't see it, but we're missing a table leg on this table. So maybe a new table is coming into this new year. That would be awesome. We have a camera sitting on a tripod that has nothing holding them together, so it could fly off at any moment. It's been a great year. It's been a great year of learning what equipment we need. And so in terms of the podcast, we also have a lot of growth there.
Yep, we have people reaching out, which is one of my favorite parts. They found us on Instagram. They found us from Apple Music.
Right.
Just crazy, because we have over 20,000 streams across all platforms.
Yeah, which is incredible.
Incredible.
And one thing I want going into 2022 is for more of you guys to reach out to us.
So feel absolutely free. Our socials are always in the description. We love you guys. And we have a blooper reel dropping here soon. Yeah,
we're going to have a 2021 blooper reel. All the funniest fails of 2021, whether it's stupid ways that our mics don't work, or if the table falls halfway through.
Noises that we make.
Or we have a full episode, so you guys are gonna love to hear this. I don't know if you noticed. I forgot which episode is it. Episode 9, where I record on my iPhone.
Yep.
And I have my phone resting on a Tony Robbins book for the whole episode, and my phone ended up falling a few times during the recording. And on top of that, my phone storage filled up through the recording, so I had to go through and delete other videos, and it was just awful. And so that's just like an example of like.
Do you still have that whole reel of when I just couldn't hold my composure and just like losing it?
Yeah, a full 5 minutes.
It's hard. Once you start laughing and then you got to sit down and be serious, it's hard to not laugh.
Yeah, when we sit down to have these episodes and we have high energy, we get really giddy, and it's like, okay, well. Now we can't record because we try to do the intro and it's just laughing on repeat.
Or if you mess up once and then you switch into that laughy mindset, it's so hard to come back.
Yeah.
Also, we want to have a few guests come back to the show.
Yeah.
The possibilities are pretty much limitless. So.
Yeah, definitely. So we have big plans for 2022. We hope you guys do as well. If you guys have big plans for 2022, drop them in the comments if you're not afraid to share them. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends so they can come and join us as well. It's going to be an awesome year.
Feel free to follow the Instagram or the TikTok. We will do shout-outs for our followers, people who like it.
Yep.
We love you guys, so we want to give you some credit.
Definitely. All right, anything else you want to say?
I think that's about it.
All right, once again, Happy New Year's, guys. We are so excited to go into this new year with you, and Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Peace.